Hello MySpacers and YouTubers. We're going into the final weeks of the NFL season, and I wanted to make my predictions of, obviously some teams have already clinched the playoffs. Like so far we have in the NFC, you have the Giants and Arizona who clinched their divisions because, Arizona's in a weak division, so obviously, San Francisco, Seattle. But you also have Tennessee and Pittsburgh who have also clinched first round byes as well, but it's just for the seeding up for grabs. And of course, this week there's a big game between Tennessee and Pittsburgh, which will determine who gets the number one playoff seed overall in the AFC. Pretty much, whoever wins that game. But I just wanted to make my predictions of what I see happening in the AFC seeding-wise over the last few weeks. Now, this might not be 100% accurate. I'm going to have my predictions for the playoffs once the official brackets are start. But this is just my gut feeling of what I think is going to happen. I feel that this week, personally, the big game start off with the AFC first. The big game this week, Pittsburgh and Tennessee. I really believe that Pittsburgh's going to win the game. It's a road game on the road in Tennessee. Just like the Jets, beat them in their own home territory. I just don't think Tennessee's that good. I mean, Jacksonville's had a bad year this year, and so has Houston. But Houston's been heating up lately, and of course, Houston beat Tennessee. Tennessee's had some losses to teams that aren't that good too, like the Jets. They're 2 losses this year. I just think they play in an overall weak division. Indy's getting it going now. They're on fire, actually playing better than Tennessee. And when they're healthy, when they have like Dallas Clark and Bob Sanders, everybody healthy, I think they're actually a better team than Tennessee, and probably would have most likely won the division earlier in the year because Bob Sanders is a big part to the defense. But I see Pittsburgh as the number 1 seed and Tennessee is the number 2, obviously, since they've already clinched first round byes. That goes to the other playoff seats remaining. In the AFC East, you have the New York Jets right now in a freeway tie between Miami and New England and the Jets, which is up in the air basically. This week the Jets play Seattle. I would hope they would win on the road. I'm going to take the Jets this week. And I see Miami winning on the road also over the Chiefs. I'm going to take Miami this week, and I see New England winning at home against Arizona. So I say they'll all be tied going into the final week of the season. We'll shift focus now to the wild card too, because basically there's going to be one team from the AFC is going to win the division, but there's also going to be a wild card team. And Baltimore, they looked really good to me. I think they're a really good team, but they have a rookie quarterback at the helm. And I think under crucial situations a lot of times, that's why teams like that fade down the stretch. And I think Baltimore, a tough matchup this week. I think they'll win next week at Jacksonville, finish the season 10-6. I think Dallas that probably will win though right now because it just seems like they're coming on strong. Tony Romo is getting his game together. He kind of chokes in the playoffs though a lot of times. And they're getting healthy at the right time. T.O., Marion Barber's getting a little bit better. Rashard Choice has looked pretty good and solid. So I'm going to take Baltimore to lose this week, which will put them out of the playoffs, which will drop them down to the 8th seed pretty much. So this means we'll go into the final week of what I see happening in the AFC. And my AFC champion is going to be the New York Football Jets. They're actually my favorite football team. I think they're going to beat Miami. I think they'll go 11-5 overall. It'll be enough to win the division, because they own all the tiebreakers pretty much right now. The Jets will be pretty much the number 3 seed. And looking at the bottom, pretty much, Baltimore, I told you, I think they'll win. But also the Miami Dolphins, I don't think will make the playoffs. They're going to be out. I'm going to have them sitting pretty much in the 7th seed, actually in the 8th seed, just missing out. The Patriots I have getting in as the 6th seed, the wild card. Now, they play at Buffalo. My damn computer has tons of viruses, excuse me, but it sucks. But the New England Patriots, they play at Buffalo to end the season. I see them going 11-5, beating Arizona at home, and then Buffalo team who just seems like they choke. They always find a way to lose a game. Rather it be a missed field goal at the last second, like Ryan Lindell had the chance to beat the Browns, losing just the heartbreaking games, having a game basically that they won against the Jets slide away under the 2-minute drive. Ever since Scott Norwood back in the 90s missed that field goal, the Bills just have been one flop after another. They lost 3 Super Bowls, like 2 of them to the Dallas Cowboys also, just the Bills always seem to choke, so, and I don't see them playing too much of a spoiler to the Patriots, not too much of a threat. So I have the Patriots in as the 6th seeded wildcard team. They'll be about 11-5, a tie with the Jets, but the Jets own the tiebreaker, so Jets win division by default. So that leaves you, obviously, Indy's in the playoffs. So all they have to do is win one of their last 2 games, Jacksonville and Tennessee. Obviously, they're going to beat Jacksonville this week, I'm pretty sure, Thursday. Jacksonville's been terrible this year. No defense. It's been all nicked up. No passing game for Garrard. Garrard's a good quarterback, but he just doesn't have enough targets. I see Indy And I think Indy will win their last 2 games. Jacksonville, Tennessee, they'll be tied, I think, with Tennessee. See them as a 12-4, very capable wild card team of doing a lot of things. Matched up against the Denver Broncos. I believe San Diego will lose this week against Tampa. That's a tough game. And Denver will beat Buffalo, and I think they'll wrap it up this week. So the game against San Diego, the final week of the season, I believe, that'll take place in San Diego, will mean nothing to the Chargers, pretty much. Although I think the Chargers might win because they might want revenge from the game that basically they felt was stolen from them earlier in the year, which pretty much it was, because, you know, that play, you know, where they made the call right at the end of the game and they got a touchdown and they couldn't stop them, you know. So pretty much Denver will be a 4. So this will set up the playoffs in the AFC pretty much, 1 through 6. Now I'm going to shift over to the NFC. I'm going to make my predictions later on. I told you once the playoff brackets are set, it's too soon. So pretty much your playoff teams: Pittsburgh 1, Tennessee 2, Jets 3, Broncos 4, Colts 5, Ravens 6, Patriots 6. That means Jets, Patriots first round matchup, and a Bronco Indy first round matchup in the playoffs. Of course, they met a couple years back where Indy crushed them when Indy had the home field advantage too. So we'll have to see what happens, but that should be good if it does happen. I told you it might not happen. It could be Miami, or, you know, because the AFC East is so open. But I'm pretty sure Denver's got the West, so that's pretty well solid. But the wild card and the AFC East remains in the ballot, so we'll see what happens this week. But it's going to shift over to the NFC. I don't like the way the Giants have been finishing down the stretch. I think that, however, that it'll be enough. I think they'll win this week against Carolina. I think they'll just have enough to hang on to the final. I see them as a 12-4 team. Probably lose to Minnesota at the end. The same with the Carolina Panthers, pretty much. I think they'll finish 12-4. I think they're going to lose to the Giants this week because that's a big game, and it's always tough at Giants Stadium late this year because of the cold weather, a warm weather team, especially playing up in the cold weather. So I see that it's going to be 1-2, pretty much. The Giants and Panthers will get the bye, 1-2 seeds. I don't like the way the Giants are going into the playoffs, so especially with Burrows having shot himself and with Brandon Jacobs and all. So, but you can't bank it yet totally, but pretty much we know that's going to be 1-2 pretty much. But obviously the Arizona Cardinals are in the number 4. They really can't do much. They're kind of stuck in the 4 seat. The Minnesota Vikings, I think, will go 11-5. I have the Vikings as the number 3 seed in the NFC. I think they'll have a home playoff game. They have not too bad of a schedule. I think they'll beat Atlanta this week and pretty much wrap up the division. The Bears, on the other hand, I kind of like their chances too of winning the last 2 games. I think they might have a shot to get in the playoffs, but I think it's just a little bit too late. Dallas Cowboys. I think the Dallas Cowboys might miss out on the playoffs. I'm not 100% sure. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers got San Diego this week in Oakland. I think they're in. I think they win the last 2 games. I like them as the 5th seed in the NFC. I think they'll finish 11-5. That leaves you with the Eagles pretty much, the Washington Redskins, and they have the Dallas Cowboys on their schedule, 9-10. That would be 10 wins. I see here 10-6. Atlanta 10-6. Philly. I have to tell you, you might get me surprised to say this, but I actually like the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to get the last playoff seed. They've been playing like miraculous football down the stretch. They really have been on a hot streak recently. Ever since they had that tie and Andy Reid kind of chewed them out, you know, a game against Cincinnati. I actually think they're going to get the final playoff seed. I see Philadelphia and Dallas both winning this week and Atlanta losing to Minnesota, but I see Atlanta going to 10-6 also. But I think the tiebreaker is going to actually pull it out for the Eagles because they have that big game up in Philly, you know, against Dallas the last week of the season. And I think the Eagles are going to be pumped in front of their home fans, and I think that they're going to get into the playoffs. I like the Eagles at number 6. So pretty much you have the playoff teams in the NFC for me, which is the Giants 1 and Carolina 2. They get the byes. Minnesota at 3. Arizona at 4. Dallas at 5. And Philadelphia at 6. So that means in the NFC, the playoff matchup would be Minnesota and Philly at 6. And Arizona and Tampa Bay in a 4-5 matchup, which would be a good playoff game. So that's pretty much my NFC playoff predictions. I hope you enjoyed this video, and happy football to everybody. We'll also see what happens with the college football bowl games. That should be interesting too down the stretch. But I'll have my NFL playoff prediction videos at the end of week 17. So we'll see how it shapes up. But that's what I see shaping up. So once again, let me resum it quickly. The top 6 teams in the AFC. Number 1, Tennessee. 2, Pittsburgh. Jets 3. Denver 4, Colts 5, Patriots 6. NFC, Giants 1, Panthers 2nd, Minnesota 3rd, Cardinals 4, Tampa Bay 5, and Eagles 6. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.